Unfortunately, I'm gonna be the hater on this card. I honestly, I do hate cards like these.
80% of the people were playing the same freaking deck.
Welcome to WWB Worldwide Broadcast. This is episode 23, guys. We're back again, and we actually got a new time comer on WWB. He goes by WictorApex, but a lot of us know him by Adam V. If you've played him in tournament, he's kind of a Steam aficionado, I guess, would be a fun little title I could give you. But hi, Adam. Welcome to WWB.
Hey, thank you guys for the invite. I like watching about all your guys' Ward content. It's a whole lot of fun. Yeah, and I really like to share my own opinions. So thank you guys very much for inviting me.
No, and yeah, and like you kind of mentioned in the Discord, I think too, that you're kind of a newer player to Ward. So we kind of wanted to get a take of somebody who hasn't exactly experienced too much and just kind of see. I mean, we as me and Billy, we've been in the scene a little bit, so it's like we don't always, I think, portray what it feels like to be like new coming to Ward. And I think, I've seen in the Discord a lot of people are starting to join, and it's really starting to pick up a lot. And so I think it's kind of good to have us get some new perspectives and new things, ideas on, because sometimes me and Billy, like I said, we're kind of the old guys, so we get stuck in our ways. So we need some new people. Okay, Billy.
Speak for yourself.
All right, fine. I'll speak for myself. We're the old WWB. I thought it was funny. I think I seen in the Discord somebody was like, "How I wish I would have got in at the start," and everybody's just like, "It is the start. Don't worry.
We're at the start.
You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything."
All packs are currently available. Yeah, I only started playing probably about 3 months ago. You got me into it, obviously, and
shout out.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a shout out. I only played in 3 tournaments so far, and then played in the Ward Bowl, obviously. So I've only played in 4 tournaments so far. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try to make it to a lot of them this year, see if I can catch up to some of your guys' infamous records last year, the first and second, third, fifth players that we all know.
Dealing with the big guys at the big end. No, I think it's kind of funny, Billy, when I first got Adam into it, he bought his first pack, or maybe your second pack, but he pulls Steam Rex, and he's like, "Ooh, I really like this card." And I was like, if only you knew how many people just want this card or need this card right now. And that's just like, he's just like, "Yep, this is what my deck will be, is Steam Rex." Yep. And I was like, oh man, this lucky guy.
Funny.
My
funny
first legendary
stories.
creature. Yep, go ahead.
So at the Gen 2 opening release party, whatever, my buddy Kevin also pulled like a Steam Rex, and he was like, "That's a cool card. I like that." And then my buddy Adam, who is what's his name? Dynamite T. I don't know how to say his name. Whatever. He's in the Ward League or whatever. He pulled the first Undead King, and so they were playing a game against each other. He was like, "All right, I gotta play the Undead King," and he also had an Apocalypse, so he's like, "I'm gonna play an Apocalypse." And Kevin had his Steam Rex on the field, and he's just like, "You sure about that?" He's like, "Yeah, man, we're having fun," and then immediately kills the Undead King.
Oh,
and he was like,
that's crazy.
All right.
Dude, that's my first time hearing that. That's an awesome story. I did not know that. No, like you said, I think it is always fun to just be like, oh yeah, like sometimes you just see the cards that people pull in the very beginning, and sometimes you're just like, if you've been playing the game, you're like, dang, that is a nice card. And honestly, for like Gen 3 coming out, I really do wish, instead of them like releasing the library early, I really wish that they would just like let people open them up and just be like, oh, like what is this? And like people, now that people are doing content on Ward, like opening packs, I think it is like a fun experience to be like, ooh, like what are the cards? It's like, as cool as it is for them to do like these like pre-release, like show the cards in the library, I think it would be really fun if they did like kind of like a, not really tell anybody what's in the packs, and then everyone just cracks them open when they get them.
No one's preventing you from not looking at the library. You can just not look at it, and then we'll make a Discord channel that'll be called Gen 3 Spoilers, and then only that gets posted there. So you can insulate yourself if you want to. I'm not.
Yeah,
look at the whole thing.
I agree.
Harry, as soon as the Gen 3 library releases, me and you're going to have a 5-hour phone call where we go through
probably all day.
break down Probably all day at work, just like sitting here and like, look at this common card that adds +3 speed.
Yeah, all the cards that don't mean anything. You're just like going through them all. It's like, yeah, we got it.
No, but you had to be concerned about the common cards because now they matter for average Joe format.
Yeah,
Mysterious
there you
Traveler's
go.
a thing. We don't need to worry about the +3 common card.
Hey, they might come. They might be impactful.
You know the scene in like SpongeBob where they are doing the treasure hunt and then they open the map and they go with their eyes like, like that's gonna be me when Gen 3 releases, or at least the card.
I'm looking for that anti-Alkanost card. Don't you worry. I'm looking for anti-Alkanost.
That's awesome. No, but yeah, like I guess just speaking of that, maybe to give a shout out to our chat. How about you guys talk about what the first card that you pulled? Since Adam, gave us his story and Billy was talking about his cool undead Steam Rex battle, I think it would be fun if everybody went into the comments and maybe talked about, hey, what was your first pack? What was the coolest card that you pulled that you were like, I can't wait to play with this, or you had a fun game, like you said, if you were playing with a buddy. So I think it is really cool to kind of hear like those origin stories of like how people got into the game. But going on from that, we are going to talk about our summer league. I think it's always good to kind of give the updates, and we also like to do our self-promotion here. Adam is a member. He's also plays in the Summer League, so he can also give us some of his takes on how the Summer League is for him, things that he's liking, things that he might not be liking, and just if you guys kind of want to just bounce around, like I said, just kind of talk about maybe what the week you had or just how you've been feeling about the Summer League. I think it's a good fun time for us to just kind of talk about our own stuff and update everybody. So let's start with Adam. Adam, how is the WWB Summer League? How do you feel about it?
I think it's a lot of fun. Honestly, anytime I'm able to play Ward is a fantastic time. I really enjoyed the specialty rule set we had last week with the Average Joe Popper, whatever you want to call it.
Average Joe. Average
fun.
Joe. We got to call it Average Joe.
I do have like a complaint or two so far about the league. I think that it was an excellent decision to allow any cards to be used, but I am noticing that a lot of people are playing with the very, very similar cards. It's very hard to find a deck that just doesn't have multiple Raccoon Knights, multiple Assassins. You got your Elite 8 cards in there. And you scroll through on the Discord, and it's like, hey, every deck has Assassin. And, personally, I think Assassin is a very easy card to prepare for, especially if you use a lot of, like, burn cards or a lot of, like, there's multiple cards that can counter Assassin. But, I've just noticed a lot of people, at least in every single week that I've played so far, and I can, maybe I'll comment on the video if this happens tomorrow, my game's tomorrow. Every person I've played so far in the league has been using an Assassin deck. And to me, that's like, it's a great card. It's a good card. But, when Billy initially talked about the league, he was like, hey, man, it'll give you a chance to try out new decks. And I'll be honest, slightly hypocritical of me. Week 1, for sure, definitely just played my actual tournament deck. So that's on me a little bit.
If I could jump in, I do like it like you said, and it's hard to say because I feel like there is like that symptom sometimes people get. It's like, ooh, I get the full access of the card library, and then people are like, hey, what's something I don't own or I can't get a hold of that I never get to play with my own cards that I can play in these kind of formats where I'm allowed to have access. So I think maybe some of that is just people being like, ooh, I get, they kind of like piece of candy. They see it and they're just like so excited that they want to try it out, which it's like, I do agree with you. And obviously this is like our first like edition of summer league, so I think it will be a lot of that, of like people trying things that like they maybe can't always play themselves. But I do agree with you. It's like, yeah, you usually don't see 3 assassins running around. Most people don't have, in the actual current like meta or like tournament, like in competitive scene, not a lot of people have 3 assassins or like 3 of a lot of these legendary cards. So it's like, I can see where you're coming at, where it's like, yeah, it maybe it like doesn't have such a great diversity of like cards just because people are excited to use those cards. But I think as we continue with the WWB like leagues, it's like, I think you'll definitely probably see people start to shift more towards different decks. And I do think, it's good that Billy had like the average Joe format because that allowed new ideas, new cards. But I do think there is still quite a bit of diversity of cards, like more than I was expecting. Like you said, Adam, I was a little skeptical when we first had the idea for WWB, because it was like, oh yeah, like maybe people are just going to try to use like all the busted broken cards or like really strong cards. And it's just like, yeah, but I think a lot of people are having fun with it, and there's people that are kind of going hard and competitive in it, and I think that's the best part about it, is everybody kind of just gets to pick what they want to do in the league. How do you feel about that, Billy?
I'm gonna disagree with Mr. Catman over there. The
good timing on the cat.
I like Harry said. I kind of thought there would be a lot of like, oh, I'm just going to run 3 assassins, 3 backstabs, 3 creators gifts, 3 social powers, and the Elite 8 and call it a day. But like, I don't know. I was just scrolling through the decks and like, yeah, there's assassins here and there, but like, all the decks have different themes and ideas and strats they're going for. And, me and just for a good example, I'd play my game with Jeremy this week, regular format, and we both had very similar cards in our deck. There was probably a good overlap of like 20 cards, so like very similar, but we're doing completely different things, like completely different.
Assassin was in there. Cards, wait, Billy, say it. Assassin was in your. In your deck.
One, you got me. I had one. I think it's good to put at least one in there.
Right. No matter what KC might say about it not being on the Elite 8, I don't know. We all have all of us from the beginning have a pretty good soft spot for Assassin. It definitely has wrecked many of our games.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's good diversity, and I think there's been a lot of decks that come out that I've been surprised at how well they do. I mean, good case in point is Harry's Gnome deck. I mean, Tom was really the only person trying Gnomes, and I think he just kind of tried it for fun, and Harry's probably doing the same, but it seems to be working pretty well. So
see, that's the thing, Billy.
With his own Gnomes.
That's the thing, Billy. I literally feel like people just kind of first were like saying like, oh, gnome deck, oh, like memeing, oh, it's just a fun, like, gotta play the gnomes, like good gnomes. But I don't know. I truly, at this moment, I haven't done a lot of play testing. I've only played a couple games of gnomes. I think it for what it is a pretty strong deck. Like, and I like to bring up like budgety decks. Like, again, not that there's so much like a market yet to buy decks, but the fact that like gnomes are all rare or lower, like for their creatures, I think it's a pretty easy deck for a lot of people to get their hands on. And like I said, they won't have all the cards that maybe I'm putting in the deck at the moment, but like you said, even just having that engine of gnomes, you can really see the value of how powerful that can be. And so it's like, I really think you're right. I think this league definitely lets people experiment a little bit with some cards that haven't seen a lot of play.
And I think the beauty of it is, in my opinion, you may have tried that like just for fun with some friends and not really think anything of it. But to try it in an environment where it's like, yeah, it's sort of competitive. Like we're all fighting. Like there's prizes, and we're trying stuff out, and everyone has every card available. So it's not like you're winning just because you have more rare cards than someone else.
Right.
Like, everyone has everyone available. So it's like, it's sort of a valid place to like sandbox some ideas, and maybe you actually will take gnomes to a real tournament, an official tournament coming up. So, and you may not have
done
it. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Or maybe someone will see that and be like, "Oh, I got all the gnomes. I could do that better," and then they'll come up with something new. So
yeah, so it's like kind of like Adam. Sorry, hold on, Adam. It's like you said, for like tournaments too. It's like if people do start getting out to like local tournaments and they don't have all the cards, I would really recommend, maybe take a look at gnomes or take a look at some of these cards that you might have copies of. And it's like, here, this is an actual like synergetic deck that you can put together that potentially could do pretty well, at your local store, whatever tournaments they're throwing on. And so, yeah, I agree with you a lot, Billy. How about you, Adam? What were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, talking about your gnome deck, I watched a lot of that game, and you were able to draw into all of your gnomes very quickly. And you are correct that like a lot of them are just rares, and they're a lot easier to get your hands on. I've seen 1 or 2 card stores that sell singles, and rares go for like $1 or $2. And I think, personally speaking, that a lot of like the legendary cards that we're looking for aren't even necessarily like the creature cards, because when we're talking about like legendary creatures, you've got assassin, raccoon knight, creator, all that stuff. But for the most part, there's some baller lower than legendary creature cards. Whereas a lot of the magic cards, of course, that we put into decks with the Elite Eight, a majority of them are legendary, which is fantastic. But gnomes are something I think that with synergy really work well together. It's a very simple concept of, hey man, put gnomes in your deck, run with it. Whatever magic cards you can put in there to help support your gnomes really help you out. But hey man, if all you have is equipment, throw a couple equipment on your gnome, make them guys AL12, put some stuff on there to help them deal damage. With some very basic, because that's more of like a battling deck, you're trying to hit them.
Right.
Minotaur Bodyguard is an uncommon card. You're probably very quickly going to get 3 of them. That would go great in your gnome deck. Fantastic. And it's definitely one of those decks where when I look at like very like baseline, easy to build decks, whether it's going to be gnomes or kind of like Hive Lord, it does have Super Hornet in it, which is a legendary creature, but you can put Black Jackets in there just as easily, and those are a rare card. Or a full moon deck, for example, which has one epic, the Wolf Knight, if you want to use him. And if not, I do think out of those like very, very basic cards that have very easy to spot synergies, and that's the other thing with gnome, it says it right there for you of, for every gnome, add more. And it's cool. That's super easy for anybody to pick up on, to understand, and it's a lot easy to find those gnome cards, play them, and they hit like trucks.
No, I do agree. And just to tie it all back, like you said, I think that is kind of what this summer league, I think, has definitely, like I said, given people access to, is like, hey, let's try out these ideas that like in our head maybe didn't sound that great, but it's like once you see how gnomes work in that actual environment and watch it be played, I think you're right. And I think a lot of those other decks will work the same way. Like you said, even if they are just at that common, uncommon, rare level, I think a lot of those cards can still shine in some decks. And I think it is kind of cool that people are slowly kind of dipping their toes in our league to be like, here, let me try these cards that I don't usually try, in competitive scene. So yeah, I think overall I like the league. Billy, I'm sure, likes the league. Adam, you said you have a couple gripes. I mean, overall though, like, how do you feel about the league though? Is it a pretty fun experience?
Absolutely. Once again, it may just be my own personal perspective. I've just noticed that I've seen a lot of people using Assassin Raccoon. My game's tomorrow. If somebody else is watching this, they can definitely try to counter me. That's fine. I'm gonna try to run a full Moon Knight.
Oh wow!
Full moon deck.
He's given the preview of what he's doing, and he hasn't even played yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, me and Harry talked about it for an hour today. I'm going to try to build one, see if I can make it work. My hot take about Full Moon is I don't think you need Wolf Knight. I don't think Wolf Knight is a very good card. Okay. I have a lot of
gripes with it.
That's a hot take. It's really not. We can discuss this later. I would love to give my
I kind of want to watch that game.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Absolutely. It's Saturday, 10:30.
Saturday, 10:30. Okay.
But, Wolf Knight, we can definitely talk about it. I can go over my reasons of why Wolf Knight isn't as good as one might expect.
Maybe just hit some bullet points real quick, Adam. Give us a couple fingers. Okay. Three bullet points real quick.
Wolf Knight isn't that fast. It's an AL11, which means you need to sacrifice for it. There are certain types of limited summon decks, and limited summon for that is you need to draw out creatures for it. You're probably primarily going to be running other were creatures. Your lowest HP were creature that you can use for a sack, unless you're running something else in it, is 50 health, which is a lot to pull out. Wolf Knight also has the limited summon problem of if you negate his effect, it immediately goes away. He only has 40 health, which 40 health is very easy to burst down. I might be a little bit biased because I run a lot of damaging cards in my regular decks, but 2 Ignitemas, he's gone. You use a demonic magic on him, he no longer is very good. And, so you're kind of sitting there, you sack a 50 HP creature to draw more out onto the field, whereas I think that with what I'm going to try to run tomorrow, I'm going to be using Werewolves and Mooncats with Full Moon and probably a Flame of the Infinite, because the Full Moon, just drawing everything out, you need to rely on drawing into a lot of creatures for some limited summon decks where it's play from hand 1 per turn. Yeah, that's super cool. How many turns, and you can answer this if you want, Billy, can you realistically say you think Moon Knight's going to stay on the field? As
Wolf
a
Knight?
40 HP.
Yeah, Wolf
As a
Knight.
40 HP creature that only it's not a fast creature either.
I think it depends how you play it.
And that's true.
The true
all
Billy
these
answer. I love it.
things.
No, Adam, I love the passion. You can just see the passion pouring out of you when you talk about this stuff. And like I said, for being kind of a newer player, I feel like you definitely have a lot of knowledge. It seems like you definitely take in a lot of what you're learning from the game. And so no, I think it is really cool. And I'm really excited to see your deck. Honestly, like you said, I'm a little bit skeptical. Obviously, it's like I would personally say I haven't seen like a very viable like weird deck that has existed yet, and obviously not a lot of people are running it. I mean, once in a while you get to a tournament and some new kid, they have only got a little handful of cards, usually end up running like a wear deck, which is like, yeah, but again, like actually seeing somebody like push wear to like the full limit, I think will definitely be cool. And so I'm excited to see what exactly you have in store for that.
I will be running potentially 1 Wolf Knight, and that's it.
Oh, he's already eaten his own words about how bad the card.
Mooncat, I believe, is the best wear creature, and it's not even technically rare. It's not even technically rare.
I think Billy might agree with you. I think
12 speed is crazy on Mooncat. Mooncat being 12 speed is fantastic. It's a 2+3 50 health. It does suck a little bit that when you get the full moon benefit, it's only a 9 AL because the best comparable creature to it is Werewolf, which is also a 2+3, but that's an 8 speed. And personally speaking, with the amount of assassins I've seen, I want something that can either speed off with or something I can put just a tiny speed boost on with a Flame of the Infinite, because Flame of the Infinite Mooncat is going to hit like a truck.
Dude, yeah, because everybody runs Assassin, right, Adam? Everybody runs Assassin, so you got to have a counter for Assassin. So I like it too. I do. But all right, I think me and Billy will be excited to see your match. So yeah, like you said, if other people want to watch too, sounds like it should be out after this video. So if you do want to, on Saturday at 10 p.m. you said, Adam, CST time. 10:30 CST. You can watch it, and maybe he'll post a little reminder in the Discord. So if anybody wants to join in there, I think that'd be really fun. But like I said, the Summer League it allows for these experiences and these things. So I'm very excited with it. Moving on, I have a little segment for you guys. Ready? I'm calling it NegateNacy's. So we're all gonna be a bunch of NegateNacy's. Yep, you're gonna like this. And so there's a lot of negates in the game card game award, and I don't think we've gone very in depth about negates, and so I kind of want us all to maybe talk about a negate that what, Billy, what's that face?
You could have done that so much better. You could have been like Negation Station, What's Your Nation?
Negation,
or something like that. I don't know.
NegateNacy's. NegateNacy's. I think everyone will love it. I always have the best ideas, Billy. Don't worry about that. All right. So anyway, NegateNacy's. We're all going to be Nancy's, and we're all going to pick a negation card, and we're all going to try to argue why we think that negation card should go into a deck over everyone else's negation card. So first we're going to start. So Billy, I'll let you go off. You're kind of the negation guy. What negation are you going to take to argue? I have a suspicious feeling that I kind of know what negation Billy likes.
Scrolls out.
Yeah. All right.
Why would I not pick that?
All right, Adam. You get to pick your negation.
Do I get to pick a different one? Or?
Yeah. You have to pick a different one.
Okay. Super cool.
I can pick it. I can pick a different one.
No. Take your scroll.
My personal favorite, because of the decks are on, Lightning Strike.
Let's go. All right. I'm gonna be for the people, as Billy likes to say, even though I'm never for the people. I'm going to pick Magic Steel, and that is because I think it's a very common card that a lot of people right now are running. And so
common.
It's a very common card that is seen in a lot of competitive decks. Fine. Not a lot of people are in competitive scene. A lot of people right now are really on the hype of Magic Steel. And I also think in our league, that has also been a very common negation that people have been running. Okay, So we are all gonna be Nancy's now. So get your Nancy pants on, get your Nancy, all your stuff. You know what a Nancy looks like. Don't worry. And we're gonna debate it here. So who wants to go first? Who wants to give their argument for why their negation is the best? All right, Adam, you get to go because you're the guest.
Awesome.
I'll pick if
So-
no one wants to go first. You didn't get your bonus points for going first. All right, why is Lightning Strike the best?
Lightning Strike is a super simple card for anybody who doesn't know what it does. It is a negate card, obviously. So whenever somebody plays a magic card, you play Lightning Strike and it cancels out their card. Its additional effect is every creature on the field takes 30 damage. Now, that does include your own creature, but there are ways to prepare around that. The main reason that I really like it is because we can go into, I can say Assassin 1,000 times, but I'm not necessarily like, that kills Assassin, Raccoon Knight. Somebody's playing Perfect Shark, it kills off the Shark. Somebody's running that Wolf Knight all of a sudden has 10 health. It's a great way to cut down on creatures. Somebody tries to put out a Corn Creeper, right? They put Backstab on it. They're trying to deal 120 damage. You play Lightning Strike, that Corn Creeper's dead. It's really good when you're playing Heroism decks because Heroism protects your creature from that Lightning Strike. And it's a great way to cut down on people's health when they might not necessarily be looking for it. I think it's fantastic to use when your opponent has very low health creatures that they're trying to use as sacrifices or with specialty effects like some of those harder hitting Metamoth, stuff like that, which is 2+8. So it's definitely just a card. It's the only damaging negate in the game. Hell Hath No Fury isn't technically a negate, that just halves their health. But, it's just a great way. And, somebody tries to protect their creature with a Forest Sentinel, something else like that. Pretty much anytime you put down a Lightning Strike and your damage is going to go through. And it's just a big burst of damage that can really kill the small creatures.
So, wait, real quick.
Actually, Mimic Chest is a negate that does damage also.
I was about
attack negate.
I was about to say, Adam, why do you feel like you'd play this card over most other negates?
I feel like I play this card over most negates because, as you've mentioned, I run Steam, which is unaffected. And it's also a negate that isn't very common for people to see. I think a lot of people are kind of scared to damage their own creatures. The best part about it is you can choose when to play it. If you're going to kill your own creature, just debate to yourself, is it worth it? Is it going to cause me problems? If the answer is yes, then just don't play it. But at the point where people are looking for their sack creatures, or if you ever see somebody running, for example, Giant Rat, they're looking for their sack with Giant Rat, blow up their Giant Rat. That Giant Rat is dead. Its effect is no longer in effect. And a lot of the other negates definitely have more utility. But at the end of the day, and this is the reason I like running burn cards, the point of the game is to get your opponent's cemetery to 300 HP. And Lightning Strike deals damage and can put health towards your opponent's cemetery. So that's why I really like Lightning Strike.
Pretty good argument. Personally, I think, like you said, when it comes to Lightning Strike, I think the hardest thing about it is that you can't put it in like every deck. And unfortunately, like you said, it's like if you have a little creature deck yourself, it's not a card you want to be really running because you're probably going to kill your creatures. And like you said, you do have to play around the fact that it can do damage to yourself. But besides that, I mean, like you said, it negates just about everything in the all the Magic cards in the game. So it's like, yeah, I think that was a pretty strong argument. How do you feel, Billy, about it? What do you think? Any weaknesses?
No, I think it can go into more decks than just Steam. Because even if you let your creature take the damage too, a well-timed Lightning Strike is almost the same as the Steam Lightning Strike. So, like, for example, if I've got like 5 or 4 health left, something really low, even less than 10 health left, I know my creature's going to die anyway. Lightning Strike. I can only take 5 damage, but they take 30, and that difference, over the course of the game can really matter. So,
and like you said,
you just try to minimize. Yeah, you try to minimize the equal damages.
Well, and like you were saying too, I think there's more than, like Adam brought up heroism as like a main thing, but there's also, if you just put like Ghost Form or any Metallic Bone or any of these like damage protection cards, you instantly don't take that damage anymore, you know? So it's like, yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to even play around the card too. Not that we want to try to defend Adam's card, but like you said, it is a very strong negate, and I think Adam I think Adam makes a very good point that it can really catch your opponent off guard when it's just like, ooh, there's 30 damage. That might have wiped out your creature, and it's like now maybe your whole plan, you know, you foil their whole plan of what they were going to do that turn. So I think it's definitely a negate that people need to take a little bit of a look into, because like Adam did make a good point. I think a lot of people don't run it because they get a little scared of it unless they have like a Steam deck. So it's like, but I think it might become a very powerful negate in the future for sure, and at this point too, you know, like if you can figure out how to work it well in your deck, for sure, you got to play around it.
Oh, one more note, just because I like Lightning Strike personally a lot. The decks I've played recently don't play with it, but it's really good. Another good thing about it is Pretend. Assassin's kind of like a nice example for this, because Assassin damage is average 45. If I have a speed 10 on my side of the field and it's got, I don't know, 40 health left, there's a very good chance Assassin's going to kill it. But if I just pop a Lightning Strike, all of a sudden, now instead of taking 45 and killing my creature, I'm only taking 30. My creature's still alive. Assassin's dead. And if they say, oh, well, okay, fine, I'll put another Assassin. Great, I got rid of an Assassin. You know what I mean? So,
no,
like,
exactly.
It's a situationally really good card.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll put in is I play a lot of creatures that have 40 health, and I play them with 40 health specifically so they can survive a Lightning Strike, especially if it's on my turn and I know I have a sack creature. I try to bait out a Lightning Strike because I see that as value, because I play like Kendo Tiger, for example. I use Kendo Tiger. You know, I'm going to try to play this other magic card. You're going to try to negate it. I Lightning Strike. Kendo Tiger's at 10. I sack for my bigger creature. You're down 30 health. Combat hasn't even started.
Nice.
And all of a sudden, you're sitting down there, 30 health less. It kills so many small creatures. Perfect Shark deck. That little Sharkling, Lightning Strike is the bane of its existence.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get... Nelson, one of our friends, runs it. He hates playing Magic cards against me because he knows I run Lightning Strike, and he literally is sitting there like looking at me like, "Oh, you have a Lightning Strike in your hand." And there's a time against Harry, I had 3 Lightning Strikes in my hand, and he did not have a good time that day.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Nelson. He was on the podcast too. But yeah, he's definitely the shark deck, and yeah, I don't think he likes getting electrocuted on his little shark. So, but anyway, we'll move on. So yeah, so Lightning Strike. I think we covered Lightning Strike pretty well, and I think like you said, not a very commonly used counter in, you know, like the competitive scene of Ward at the moment. But yeah, I think it definitely has its place. Billy, do you want to take it, or do you want me to go with Magic Steel?
You can go ahead. Sure.
Okay. So yeah, I will argue for Magic Steel. Like I said, most people are kind of running this card competitively. Even in our summer league, people are running this card. If you don't know what Magic Steel does, it kind of is what it says it does. When they play Magic, you steal the Magic, and then you play the Magic. Or if you're unable to play it, then you just discard the Magic to their cemetery. So it's kind of a goofy negate, I would say. It's not like your typical negate where it just shuts down whatever's going on. It has a little bit more to it. With the recent ruling that, at least that's the ruling I think they went with, Billy, when we were talking in the Discord, is that this card you have to play the Magic card you steal. And so some people might say like, oh, like, you know, that's how it should work. But it's like it obviously makes the card, I would say, a little bit weaker. But the fact is that there is still a lot of strong Magic cards in the game, that it's like my opponent tries to play it at a certain time, and I can totally just change their game so fast on their head if they play it at the wrong time with no way to stop me, and I take that Magic card. Like a lot of the big cards that we talk about, Holy Light, recursion of every card in your cemetery. If I steal that from you, now you don't get to take anything from your cemetery, and think about the value I get having access to my cemetery. Same with Visitor from Beyond. Same with Ghost, you know, of the Past. Like there, a lot of those like recursion cards are very good cards to hit with Magic Steel, like I was saying. And so it's just like, yeah, and obviously there's a ton of equipment too. Like if people play Flame of the Infinite, you can steal their Flame of the Infinite. You can steal a lot of these powerful cards, Revival Priest, that people really want to get their hands on. That, like I said, can buy them time or like potentially set up their plays. And I just think it's a very strong card. But again, it is limited to one. For obvious reasons, so it's like it loses a little bit of power that you can't run 3 in your deck, but just having that one, sometimes if your opponent just gets kind of lazy or doesn't think about it, it can really just like take over a game by playing a Magic Steal.
I had a very good example of this in my game with Jeremy today. I had 8 cards in my hand, and I was holding a lot of cards that were like really good to use. I was holding Ghost of the Past, Visitor from Beyond, Holy Light, Turncoat, all these like one of ones you can only use once. But I didn't have a Melody, I didn't have a Goblin Chicks, I didn't have a Lightning Strike, I didn't have a Scroll of Silence, I didn't have any negates. So I'm just holding them. I'm like, he's gonna negate one of them. So like, I need to just pick a card and play it. Oh, Silence from the Grave, another one I had in my hand. So I was like, I just want him to negate it so I can play the card I really want. So I'm essentially throwing a card away. So I was like, Jeremy thinks Silence from the Grave is the greatest card of all time, so I'll play that. He will negate it. Silence from the Grave. And then he plays Magic Steal. And I was like, that's like the one negate like you could have played that really screws up everything I was trying to do. Yeah, here you go. Because I had nothing to stop it. Because then all of a sudden all these cards in my hand, I'm like, well, I can't play them anymore.
Yeah.
And like I'm looking like he's got 15 cards left in his deck. You can only have one. 50% chance he's holding a Magic Steal. I figured he would have used, I don't know. So
that's something I forgot.
But I mean,
that's something I forgot to mention too. Like you brought up, like, yeah, Silence from the Grave, amazing card to steal. Irresistible Love, amazing card to steal. Like, yeah, because that can just shut down that turn. Like, you just take over their turn that by stealing that card. So like, yeah, I agree with you. That like you said, pretty
luckily
powerful.
for me, Silence from the Grave is not the greatest card of all time, so I was able to survive and play the game. But we
really got to get we got to get a tally of how many times Jeremy loses by playing all 3 Silence of the Graves. Because, like you said, Billy, you like the card, but you don't think that it's really not strong enough to play all 3 copies of it.
Well, I had one in my deck. He had one in his deck. He stole mine and then played his own. So I'm like, okay, I'll sit here for a while, I guess.
Yeah, right. But what about it though? What do you guys want to say about the card and maybe why it isn't that great of a counter? Is there anything that we can put on the negative side of it?
The point of a counter is to prevent your opponent from playing something, and there's a lot of different cards that actually negatively impact you, especially when it comes to field spells. Because if you have to play it because it's a field spell, right? And that field spell is now benefiting your opponent because they played it. And it's now taking up one of your own 5 magic slots. And there's a lot of different cards that you just can't negate. Turncoat. Oh, I'm going to Magic Steal your Turncoat. And we're still going to switch.
They're still doing the dance.
Still going to switch. So, like, field cards. Field Destruction. I'm going to put in a Magic Steal. And I'm running Flame of the Infinite myself. I honestly don't even think Flame of the Infinite is that baller to steal. I mean, yeah, it's a decent card. But a lot of people, when you put Flame of the Infinite into your deck, you're kind of accounting for the 50 HP that can go into your cemetery. But, all of a sudden now, hey, there's a Flame of the Infinite that I wasn't particularly expecting. And just, there's a lot of different cards now that Magic Steal doesn't work against, and it is only a 1 of 1. I still think it's fantastic. I do think it's fantastic. You really should have it in your deck because of all of the different cards that you can see with it, especially the Graveyard Recursion. An extra Holy Light, Ghost from the Past, Visitor from Beyond, anything like that will really help you out by the end of the day having a second play of them. They're great. And if you anything with Visitor, you can technically just take back out Magic Steal and be like, oh, guess I get to use this a second time, which I personally really like it.
Yeah, you cover a good note about just the fact of like Magic Steal now, like field spells, like Foggy Night. You want to Magic Steal a Foggy Night, it's still gonna affect you the same way. Like you know what I mean? Like you said, you just have to play it, and now it's still going off. So it's like there are some instances in Ward right now where, like you said, there are cards that you can kind of just play that Magic Steel like can't really deal with, and I can kind of agree with you on that, like you said, and I think that is kind of the drawback now to Magic Steel because of the fact that they ruled it where you have to play the card, because before you could just negate the card with the card, which I think is very, very strong. But now the fact that you can't really do that, which I personally was of the opinion to change it to this way, because I do really think Magic Steel, it should be let me play your card. Like, let me take your card and let me play it instead of you, which I think it should kind of have that theme to it.
They never changed it. It was always like that. It's just everyone played it wrong.
Oh,
so
well, there you go.
That was just a learning.
That never happens in Ward, right, Billy?
Yeah, so. Never happens.
We are experts at this game.
Yeah. As we're still paving the yellow brick road for everyone to No, but like you said, I do know that there are some things to the card that definitely it's like as a being an experienced Ward player, it's like, yes, can I utilize it to the fullest of its ability? Yes. Like Adam was saying with like Lightning Strike, sometimes I just don't play my card. I just have to say, hey, this isn't a good time to play this card. Let me hold it. Let me see what happens. And so it's like, yeah, I think it has a lot of drawback, but I also think there is a reason why everybody right now is kind of playing Magic Steel in their decks, because it does have a lot of inherent value that you can potentially gain from your opponent. All right, Billy, we'll set you up. Scroll of Silence, everyone's favorite negation.
I have covered this card so much because I love it. I think my biggest thing to say about it is that it just stops the other negates, and it allows me to have a safe play, because a lot of times your Visitor, your Holy Light, your Ghost of the Past is getting negated, and you just have to be prepared for that. And the only way to prepare for it, in my opinion, is to have a Scroll of Silence, because it guarantees the play, and guarantees go a long way in your game, right? If I'm playing, and a Holy Light really turns the tides and they can stop it, I can guarantee those tides are turned, buddy, right? So, like, that's what I like about it. I've actually... I like it so much that I'll use a Visitor Beyond to get a Scroll of Silence out of the cemetery, because sometimes when you're kind of at the end of the game, having that guarantee in your hand, it's like, okay, I got one card, I get to guarantee it. Like, I love the dice rolling aspect of the game, but I also like making sure the stuff I play gets played. So, also, it's like it was to counter the negate heavy strats of Gen 1. And it's a good thing, because now I don't need to run every negate in my deck just to make sure my cards get played. I only have to run some scrolls and a couple other negates, because it used to be you start the game with, or you start your deck building, 9 negates? Okay, I've got my 3 Blades, 3 Goblin Tricks, Magic Steel, Dragon Rage, Mysterious Door. All right, now what's the rest of my deck?
Yeah.
And then the game... well, I can't say like with everybody, but within the group of people I played with, like, that's where you start. Because if you win the Magic Negate fight, you have the upper hand for the rest of the game. Right. So, that changed a lot. So it's a good change. I love it. I love the card. I obviously love it because it's my card sleeves. But there are drawbacks to it. I won't say everything. So, Adam, Harry, what are the drawbacks to Scroll of Silence?
Well, first... Oh, Adam, I'll take it for a second. I actually just before I talk about the bad things, I do think, Billy, when you do think about a lot of Ward cards, and I know some Ward cards struggle with that thing of like, ooh, it doesn't feel like they fully flushed out how the ruling of this card works. I really think Scroll of Silence like is a beautiful example of where the Ward staff made like a card that honestly like fits exactly what it needs to do, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory what this card is for. And I also love the fact that it's like in a lot of other TCGs, I feel like there's these very like generic cards that negate, like not only negate everything but can't be stopped, but like they just have too much functionality to them. And I really like the fact that like Scroll of Silence, even though it is a very powerful card, it still only fits in the realm of like other flash cards. And it's just like, again, there are, like you were just saying, Billy, to get to now like the negative side of it, there is still ways to play around it. There's ways to prevent your opponent almost making it like a dead card, in my opinion, of like, here, I don't have to play flash cards if I don't want to. I can play cards like Time Melt, like Foggy Night, like, you know, Silence from the Grave, all these cards. It's like, you don't know how many times I've played games and people are like, ooh, if I had any other negate than Scroll of Silence in my hand right now, I could maybe stop this. But it's like, that's the only card I have. So it's like, it doesn't allow you to stop your opponent all the time, but it does allow you to, like you said, guarantee certain plays and potentially stop flash things. So it's like, it has a double use, but it definitely has a little bit of a weakness where it's like it can't stop everything. All right, Adam, sorry, I'll let you take over. What's your thoughts on Silence from the Grave, or sorry, Scroll of Silence?
Whoa,
too many silences in this game.
Limit it.
Yeah.
So Scroll of Silence, I think, is pretty much a must-have in your card. As Billy said, he said it perfectly. This is a game where anything can happen, but Scroll of Silence is the only card in the game that just guarantees something happen. If I'm trying to make a big play on something, I don't want to do it until I have a Scroll of Silence on me, because that Scroll of Silence guarantees what I want to happen. I very much so like it when, if I'm trying to play 5 or 6 Magic cards in a turn and I see that Irresistible Love and I see that Scroll of Silence, I smile on the inside, because Irresistible Love, Scroll of Silence, I'm now free to play my Visitor, my Holy Light, my everything. I've gotten a lot of success. I personally, and Billy might disagree with me here, I like the card Psychic Toad. I think it's really funny. I think it screws over a lot of people. And, you know, a lot of people like to mind sap it right when it comes out. You hit them with the Scroll of Silence, like, sorry, man, you're AL 12. You
taking it now. Taking it for a joyride.
There are no guarantees in life except for Scroll of Silence.
Yeah. What a slogan. Get that bumper sticker on the back of your card.
But, you know, as Harry was saying, I don't think you should run 3 Scrolls of Silence. I don't think you should. I personally run 1. I might run 2 in a deck. But, you know, I look for Scroll of Silence, and I think I've seen people be a little bit too trigger happy on Scroll of Silence. And, you know, oh, I'm going to play Minotaur Bodyguard or Forest Sentinel. Just block this 40 damage hit. Ha! Scroll of Silence. Is that really when you want to use it, buddy? Like, you don't want to use it maybe when you want to Holy Light your creature back, your Revival Priest your creature back. You know, these big plays you really need to make happen to win. But if somebody's not running a whole ton of negates, you're not always going to have a Scroll of Silence in hand. 30-card deck, you have 3. You might have one towards the end. You know, it only works on other flashcards, and not everybody runs a whole ton of flashcards, as Harry was saying. Somebody might just put in a Time Melt and be like, I don't care what you play. I'm playing Time Melt.
Yep,
yeah,
so,
it's true.
Fantastic card. I do think it's kind of a must-have in a deck, because it just guarantees that a card you really need to go off.
I mean, we kind of made it on the Elite Eight, so I mean, we have to always make that argument that it does kind of need to be. It is a card that is so powerful it should be in every deck. So it's like I agree with you too, Adam, in a lot of those. You know, what your thoughts were on Scroll Silence. So it's like, again, I'm gonna do the Billy thing though. All right, let the people decide. So in the comments, go down there. Maybe we'll do a post too. What do you guys think is like the best negate? Maybe we didn't even bring up the best negate, or if you agree, you know, Magic Steel, Scroll of Silence, Lightning Strike, whatever negates you guys like to use, definitely talk about it in the comments, because I do think the negates, we haven't covered them fully, and I think they're always a good card. I think a lot of people like to talk about how they can negate people and ruin everyone's days. We all like to ruin other players' days in war, don't we? But all right, guys.
Adam, I need to get a shirt that says Death, Taxes, and Scroll of Silence.
Yeah.
Only guarantees in life.
I love that. I just want a bumper sticker that says the only guarantee in life is Scroll of Silence.
It's true.
And then it's Billy's Scroll of Silence flipping the bird for sure. All right. Well, we're gonna move on, but anyway, like I said, let us know what your favorite negates are. Adam, since we have you on, I do want to. We were bringing up Steam Rex and how that was kind of your first legendary card. I mean, I will say you're kind of the Steam Deck guy now. You've adopted having the Steam Rex. It's your little baby, and now you built out your deck, right? You're kind of a Steam Deck player. I thought maybe this would be a fun time to kind of just do a little bit of a deep dive into how a Steam Deck runs, or just your thoughts on Steam Rex or Steam Deck, our thoughts on the Steam Decks at the moment, and maybe just have a little discussion about it. And so if you want to lead it, maybe just kind of explain a little bit of like what is like kind of like the skeleton structure of a Steam Deck. Like what are kind of the essential parts that really like make a Steam Deck?
Sure thing. So I personally like running Steam Rex. Fantastic card, 1+10, unaffected by creature and magic cards. And if somebody plays a flash card, it gets to deal double damage. Inherently, it can't be blocked by Minotaur Bodyguard and that stuff like that. Now, 1+10 sounds great, but it's not honestly that much damage. And so when I look at that, I saw it and I was like, fantastic, my first legendary creature. I need to try to make this work. My first thought was you need to have a lot of good supporting magic cards in your deck in order to support it. Because it's only a 1+10, a lot of the fantastic equip cards that you can put in, backstab, all this other stuff, it doesn't work in your deck. But honestly speaking, not being able to include those in your deck gives you a lot more cards to play with. So I was looking at Steam and I was like, it's 110 health creature, 1+10. The main thing that it's going to struggle with is out damaging some of its opponents. It deals very consistent and average damage. So, you can kind of like tell how long it's going to take to kill a creature. And so, I like putting in the Ignitemas because Ignitema is another sneaky little card. I play Assassin. Oh, Ignitema. It just kills it right away.
We can't tell you don't like Assassin.
Well, Assassin's just a perfect example for Ignitema. Or Scarlet even. Scarlet,
Yeah.
super annoying. But, the other thing with it is any of these pesky little 30 HP creatures that a lot of people like to run, whether it's Sharkling, Raccoon Knight, Corn Creeper, all of these creatures, Igniteba, one Steam Rex hit, and it's down. It enables you to run a lot of cards. I'm of the personal opinion that you shouldn't put all of your eggs in one basket. So I've seen a couple other people make some Steam decks where Entry, not a Steam creature, but it has a similar thing, can't be affected by magic or creature effects. But, that's a 1+6 with 40 health. And, honestly speaking, it's not a great wall. It has 40 health. It doesn't deal fantastic damage, +6. And you can't boost it up at all. I like to run more guaranteed damage. I really liked Apocalypse when I first saw it. And then the more and more thinking I did, it's like, hell yeah, we roll same dice, 100 damage, pretty much guaranteed kill your creature. But it's like, if somebody sees an Apocalypse on the field, they're going to make it their life's goal to get the Apocalypse off the field. Or they're just going to play.
I feel like that's everybody's first time when they see Apocalypse. You're just like, yeah, look how sick this card is. And then you're just like, oh, wait, this card never goes off. And you just play it. I mean, it does, but it's very, very low odds.
The main supporting thing that I try to run in my deck is I have a lot of smaller creatures that I like to deal with heroism. Because I've noticed running a lot of burn cards, somebody gets heroism on their creature, all of a sudden the only way I'm capable of dealing damage is a 1+10 creature. My highest damaging creature other than a raptor that I run that's a 3+4, but that's literally just there to help do a little bit of damage while he sits there on the field because he's a speed 12, deals decent damage, and he can survive one lightning strike.
Speeds off with Assassin, so, Adam's still finding ways to hate the Assassin.
Exactly. But, sometimes these heroism creatures, I run a Psychic Toad in there as well to help deal with that. For people, if they're running stuff like Flame of the Infinite, I really like some of the more powerful creature effects in it. So if you're running Flame of the Infinite, I play a Kendo Tiger, and that's another reason. I like Scroll of Silence specifically for Mind Sap, because if you really need to Kendo Tiger their Flame of the Infinite, that's a decent time, I think, to use the Scroll of Silence, because that Scroll of Silence is essentially taking away 90% of the creature's power and adding 50 HP into your opponent's cemetery. So you're killing two birds with one stone on that. I think Steam is a strong deck. I think it definitely runs into a lot of struggles when facing certain decks. the main ones I've had trouble with is definitely limited summon decks, because Steam doesn't hit super hard itself, and when it's getting hit by 4 creatures every single turn, it very quickly whittles down its health. And with those limited summons, I can't hit any of them with my burn cards, obviously. So, it's just going to get the Rex is taken down by the caveman, little spears just poking into its side.
And
So
I think you also, like you said, like you can't utilize like healing, you can't utilize like bouncing to reset your HP. So it's like sometimes like it kind of like is like a double-edged sword where it's like Steam can kind of like not have the tools that you need to keep that Steam Rex alive.
you can't Revival Priest your Steam Rex because it would just instantly die again. I still do run Revival Priest because I have several smaller creatures that have very good effects on them, which, being able to Revival Priest your Kendo to blow up a specific card on the field, Revival Priest your Psychic
Irresistible
Toe,
Love. I want you to say Irresistible. I'm sorry. This is one of my
Irresistible
5 cards. Billy knows this from an old episode. One of my cards when I made a whole list. Adam, I don't know if you've watched it, but there of all the cards that can get rid of Irresistible Love. When 3 Irresistible Loves were running around, everybody hated Irresistible Love. I know I'm taking this on a tangent. I apologize, but I do that. Irresistible Love. You can pop it with Kendo Tiger, so it is a good card. So whoever hates Irresistible, pop it with Kendo.
Whoever hates Kendo, you can speak now. So I've noticed that there's a lot of people who are posting Steam decks or creating their own Steam decks where it's like, I'm going to run 2 Steam Rexes and 3 entries. And it's like, that's super cool, but Steam struggles against heroism. And if you don't put a way to get rid of heroism on your deck, you're going to have a lot of trouble if somebody gets out a powerful AL12 creature with heroism on it, because that's going to mollywop all of your Steam creatures. So you need to put variety in your deck still, I believe, personally. But yeah, that's honestly my
I want a
take.
Magic card called Mollywop. Now that I hear you say it, Adam needs a card called Mollywop. And I don't know what that card's doing, but it sounds awesome.
Mollywopping.
Mollywopping.
Yeah.
You heard me, all the people that make those card ideas. Someone make Mollywop and tell me what that card does.
Oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to be worse than Backstab.
But anyway, yeah, I think that's a pretty good deep dive on Steam. I mean, Billy, what's your kind of take on Steam? How do you feel about those cards?
I mean, I agree with all the points made. Steam's really interesting to fight against because you're essentially your boss monster is your Steam Rex, and you're just using everything to support it. Inherently, you don't really run equip cards, so you tend to run against a lot of lightning cards, which makes sense because you want that double damage.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes the fight. It makes the fight interesting, and it by proxy, it makes Magic Eater and Evil Queen and Dragonfire, like all these field destruction, it makes them useless. Honestly, kind of to an extent, it kind of makes Sounds from the Grave a little useless because you can't negate their effect. I mean, sure.
Scroll of Silence stocks, though, Billy. Scroll of Silence stocks.
I know. I'm aware of my position in the market with my favorite negate, but yeah, it makes the fight really interesting because they're probably going to have more negates than you, and you have to figure out how to navigate that. It's fun. So
I'll run a little bit more average negates than other people. I usually have my 3 lightning strikes, a Goblin Tricks, and a Dragon Range. So 5 negates and then a Scroll of Silence. So I'll have 6 negates, and I might switch 1 or 2 out here there. Specifically Goblin Tricks. I know it's something we didn't bring up earlier, but that's a card where if you have a tricky card that's on the field, I'm able to use Goblin Tricks in order to pop it. And I think that can be very helpful. Flame of the Infinite is a very scary card for me, even though I do run Twisters. But I do agree with you, because I'm not running equipment. A lot of the field destruction that people like to use, the only equipment I run is a Revival Priest and 3 Demonic Magics. And to be honest with you, the Demonic Magics are there because they have health and they shut off creature effects. And that 100 HP creature is not as scary when they have 50 health.
And no effect.
I was going to say, you should probably... I don't know if you do it, but maybe a Mimic chest or two would probably be good as well.
I just got my very first Mimic chest,
Woo!
so I want to run it. I just traded for one. So,
Harder card to get than Demonic Magic for sure.
Oh, and I am thinking about trying to sneak a Hell Hath No Fury in there just for shits and giggles because I think it'd be funny.
Well, he's giving us all the strats. I like it.
I used Hell Hath No Fury in one of my decks in the Gen 2 only, and it's surprisingly effective.
Yeah, I think it's a card people just don't even think about, or like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I definitely could see that a lot.
If you don't have Mimic chests, you know.
Well, and I think it's better than Mimic Chest because it's guaranteed, right? Back to your guarantee of Scroll of Silence. It's also cannot be negated, so it is a guarantee.
You gotta get KC on the card comparison number 80, whatever we're on. Like,
yeah,
better Hell Hath No Fury Mimic chest.
Which card is
better?
better?
Done it already, actually.
I don't know about you, but every time I see those, it's like, which card is better? It's like I just have like a little like theme. Yeah, it's like one of those people that like it's like spin the wheel or something. You're just like.
I feel like every time we have one of those, I'm like, I like card A, and then Tom always comes in and says, well, actually, card B is 100% better. Yeah. I'm like clockwork, dude. I know you're gonna pick whatever I don't pick.
You gotta fight him on it every time.
When it comes to burn cards, I really enjoy the cards that have HP. I think that effect is really strong. And Demonic Magic is +5 to hit. Whatever. I don't care. I am intending whenever I play that card to kill your creature the same turn. I've killed 3 creatures in one turn before. Didn't even have to go to combat for it. It's fantastic. It's fun. And as you were saying, Steam inherently makes a lot of Magic cards against it useless. And I will admit, you guys can report me to the government for this. I will admit, I do feel a small amount of sick, sweet joy whenever I'm playing somebody and they look at me with 8 cards in their hand, with anger in their eyes, and they say, I can't even play anything. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. Oh, your bounce card doesn't work.
The no fun deck, Adam, and I'm gonna backpack off of that. I do call Steam the no fun deck, and then it also, you know what? We were talking about matchups with Steam. I think the most boring. Billy might debate this with Scarlet, but I think Steam versus Steam mirror match is one of the most boring matches to watch because about 80% of their decks don't do anything to the other person's deck. And so it's like, it definitely becomes a very coin flip of a game and definitely a long game, as Adam was saying, since Steam Rex only does a set amount of damage. And so when you have a Steam Rex hitting a Steam Rex, it's who will get the crit? Who gets the crit?
It's legitimately, with Steam versus Steam, everybody's too scared to play all of our negates that we have because it'll double the other person's Steam Rex. Other person's Steam Rex. That's literally what it is. You're sitting there and you're like,
boringest game ever, right? It's no one wants to play anything.
I think I have in my deck, I just counted a little bit off my head, I think I have like 4 cards that I can play in a Steam versus Steam matchup. And 3 of them are, I got 3 Demonic Magics, Holy Light, Visitor, and Ghost.
Yeah.
And Irresistible Love. And that's about 7 cards.
I think it's the only matchup where you might see people just discarding negates because they're just like, I don't want to negate. I don't want to negate. Don't negate. Like you said,
sometimes can be worth it to negate their Holy Light to bring their Steam back.
That's fair, yeah. I was just more of a meme, like you said, if you have 8 cards in hand and you're like, what do I have to discard here if I'm playing, and so they're just like,
then
discard
you have to do
negates.
the debate in your head every single time. You both have Steam Rexes out. You play your Visitor and they negate it, and you're like, do I want to deal double damage this turn and potentially kill their Steam Rex? Because if I play a negate right now, we're going to speed off, and whoever's going to hit is going to hit for 30 damage and kill each other. So,
right.
I've had a couple of games where it gets down to, like, your Steam Rexes are just... And Steam Rex, it takes, like, 8 or 9 turns for a Steam Rex to kill a Steam Rex. It's so silly. You're just sitting there, like, discarding cards. Like, I don't have anything to play, man.
Almost as boring as 2 Scarlets with Creator's Gifts attached to each other. Right, Billy? But anyway, I think, Adam, you did a really good job with going in depth with Steam. And like I said, I think a lot of people, I will say Steam is on the higher end of decks. Just to find Steam Rex is pretty rare. And so it's like you don't usually get to see too many people run Steam Rex. But once you do get to kind of see it be played, I think it is a really cool card. I also think it is just a card with like the artwork. It just captures people. Like you said, I love the artwork of Steam Rex. I think it was definitely a really cool card when I first seen it. I mean, Billy, like you said, I'm sure you probably had a similar experience. Or how did you feel when you first seen a Steam Rex? I think it's definitely a sick card to see.
Oh yeah, it is definitely sick. Speaking of Steam Rex, I got one question for the Steam Deck, man. In your opinion, how many Steam Rex should be in a Steam Deck?
Ooh.
Two.
I think only 2. That puts you at 220 health. I think it's very easy to manage your health to essentially you can have your Steam Rex and all your other creatures in there be at 290 and have your other Steam Rex on the field. I think having 3 is a little bit too much. I honestly think it's really hard to have bonus creatures. I think it's really hard to run 3 sat creatures that each have 100 health in them because by the time you get to your third one, you're going to be over in your cemetery. Because if you're over 200, right, you needed to sack a creature for each one of them, you're more than likely going to be over. And you need, once again, other cards to help you deal your damage. So dedicating another slot, it also increases the chances of you drawing into 2 of your Steam Rexes on your opening hand, being forced to sack one for the other, and that's a really bad time.
I also don't know anybody who has 3. So
yeah, I was about to say that was my biggest thing. I was like, who here has 3? That's in the Discord. That's all I see is everybody. I need a Steam Rex. Who has Steam Rex? Steam Rex. Steam Rex. It's just
like usually the last card.
Yeah, it's usually one of those chases. That's why when Adam pulled it in his like first or second pack, I was like, okay, this guy just pulls a Steam Rex. I was like, here we go. Never gonna hear the end of it. Nah, but like you said, I think that's a good cap. But anyway, if anyone does have questions about Steam decks, or like you said, you thought that the Steam, now that you've learned about Steam a little bit, you might be a little more excited to try out those Steam cards. So definitely let us know how you feel about the Steam decks for sure. We are gonna move along. We're getting near the end here. I do want to. Oh, all right.
Sorry for cutting out there. I just wanted to get, Billy, do you agree with running 2, or what is your thought on that?
I completely agree. 1 is not enough, 3 is too many.
I feel like that's a lot of cards.
Well, and I think, too, like, Adam, you made a very good point. Like, AL11, I think that is the struggle sometimes putting those AL11 cards. Even a Steam Rex, like I said, Steam Rex is nice because your opponent cannot mess with those cards. A lot of other AL11s, they can be bounced. They can be affected in so many ways that it's like it almost doesn't feel worth to bring those creatures out. But it's like Steam Rex, even though it can play underneath that, like you guys were saying, having 3 in your deck just feels really bad because it's just like, oh, more often than not, I'm going to sack this creature. Or like you were saying, Adam, how do you build out a deck where you actually get enough value out of 3 Steam Rexes? It's like you're very rarely going to be able to pull all 3 out in a game. So it's like I kind of agree with you.
That's not the point, though.
Yeah.
How quickly do you want it on the field?
Do you want to get to it? But like you said, I think 2 in a 30 card deck is pretty like manageable and understandable. And I think most often than not it works out, right? Because like you said, the worst case scenario is you just don't get to get the Steam Rex out. But having 2 actually guarantees you get that creature out, right? Because you can't go through all of your other creatures without getting a Steam Rex out, even if it means sacking a Steam Rex to get a Steam Rex out. So it's like, I don't know. I think you're right. Two is probably the right number to have.
It's interesting because I think one of the hardest parts of deck building is how many of this card do I put in my deck? Because conventional card game wisdom is if it's a good card, you want to run as many as possible.
More the merrier.
Which is more the merrier, which makes sense. However, like other card games, like Pokemon is 60 cards, Yu-Gi-Oh is 40 to 45, Magic is 60, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
100 if playing Commander, but you only have one of each, right? So, 30 cards is hard to work with, and if I have play sets of cards, that's only 10 unique cards. So, like choosing when to run 1 and 2 and 3 of each copy is a really fine balancing act. So
well, I think
it's good to get an input.
Yeah, you make a good point too. Just with the 30 card deck, I always think that this is something that Ward like kind of achieved. Is like you said, a lot of those other games with more cards. I remember when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, I was like, okay, I kind of know the like 6 or 7 cards I want to put in my deck. Okay, now I have to figure out the like 30 other cards I need to put in this deck, and it like can be kind of overwhelming at first, and like really trying to get into those games where it's like I do feel like 30 cards is almost the like sweet spot of like it doesn't feel too overwhelming to build a deck. I mean, I know some people in the Discord are like, oh, I'm not really sure what to put in a deck, but like overall, it's like it's really not too hard. But like you said, I do like the thought of like, hey, I'm a new player. I don't have to get 3 copies of every single card that I want in my deck. I can still have a competitive deck with only a couple copies of some cards or no you know what I mean? Like I do really like that aspect of Ward because like as it comes from like easy to play and for people to get into, I think that is such a strong thing that Ward has going for them is like here people can have access to this game a lot sooner than having to go out there buy a bunch of copies of the same card over and over, you know. And so it's like I do really like that aspect. But I think with that, we will move on. One more thing before we kind of head out, I'm going to talk about GenCon. So on the 31st, or the weekend of the 31st, is GenCon. And like you said, I do want to give people the opportunity if they didn't know, but GenCon is in Indiana, right, Billy, if I'm not mistaken? Yep. And so if you are near Indiana or that region and you really want to go to something that Ward is at and also is a big convention that a lot of nerdy people just like us who love to play games, card games, video games, board games, all the games, definitely try to make your way out there. And like I said, the Ward staff has their own booth. I'm pretty sure they're throwing on pack cracks and probably boss battles and all those things. So if you just got into Ward and you didn't know it and you're just now hearing about Gen Con, go buy a ticket, get in there, get over there, and definitely have some fun and like meet the Ward staff. You know, get as involved in the game as you possibly can, because I think that is the number one thing I see in the Discord and just in general is a lot of people are like, dang, I wish that these things were like closer to me or like in my area. And I think Ward is kind of getting to that point now where it's like that is almost possible for a lot of these people. And so we're, you know, promoting it. Gen Con, make sure you guys get out there. Make sure, like I said, if you got the ability, go there and enjoy that time. And I think it'll be a fun thing. And if you do, post in the Discord, you know, talk about your experience. I'm sure the Ward staff would love it. I would love to hear how Gen Con went. You know, like I said, it's all fun, and we all like to support Ward every way we can. So make it out to Gen Con. What do you guys feel? How do you feel about Gen Con? I think one of these years I definitely want to actually be able to make it out to. I won't be able to be there in person. I know Billy, I don't think any of us. Maybe Adam, you going to go to Gen Con?
No, but I would also like to go to one in the future. The Virginia Con that both myself and you went to. That was the first ever convention I went to in my life. So I'm excited for Excalibur coming up as well up here in Duluth. Billy, are you going to Excalibur?
Yeah, I got my ticket for Saturday.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm excited for you to crack pack an assassin and play it against.
I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see you. I haven't seen Billy in a little bit, and I'm going Saturday and Sunday, so I'll be doing the whole weekend. Yeah. So it's gonna be a busy Ward weekend. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hang out at the Ward booth for 8 hours. They're gonna give us a job, Harry.
But all right, with that, like I said, make it out to Gen Con. But for final thoughts, let's just go around. Adam, you haven't been on the show yet, but I like to close it out with final thoughts where we all just kind of talk about how we feel about Ward at this moment, where it's at, whatever we kind of just want to get off at the very end here. So do you got any final thoughts?
First, I just want to say thank you guys for inviting me to come on. Been a blast. This is my first ever TCG. I've heard TCG's called cardboard crack before, and I kind of now start to understand that term because I buy out card stores sometimes. Oh, hey man, it's payday. Let me stop by the card store, right? Oh, yeah. But it's fantastic, and I think Ward is going to do very good things. I think it does. One of the big things I didn't want to play other TCGs before is because, these games have been going on for 20, 30 years, and they had very established ways to play and meta cards, and some cards cost, $6,000 online, and if you weren't playing a 3-turn deck that went infinite on turn 2, you weren't going to do well playing against people. And, that just doesn't sound like a very good time to me. Ward does an excellent job of balancing out each one of the cards. Each card that you have in your deck is incredibly important. And you're not guaranteed to win by using a 3-card combo that just makes it so you win if you draw into it. So that's one of the things I really appreciate. I'm really excited to see where Ward goes in the future. I cannot wait to see where Gen 3 comes in. Maybe I'll get, a new Steam creature I can play with. But it's a fantastic game. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to going to more tournaments. I'm shooting for #1 place next year. Take down both. Just for viewers, these two guys are the guys I always lose to in the tournaments. Last tournament I played, I took 5th place in at the Ward Bowl, and I always just lose to the top 5 ranked guys. It's really frustrating.
Nah, we're not that good. Come on, don't.
Let me beat you one time.
He's boosting our ego a little bit too much, Billy. No, I couldn't have said it better. And like I said, I think that is the experience that me and Billy maybe don't always experience, but like new players. Just like that first time you buy a box, and I know we see a lot of new people in the Discord getting into Ward, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm buying my booster box, my starter box. I'm getting 4 packs or whatever." And I feel like everybody's response is, "Crack them, let us see what's in there." Like,
rip them,
yeah, rip them open. It is a lot of fun, even for people who have been in the scene a while, just to see what people pull. I think that is always just a fun aspect of Ward. Is just getting involved with everybody. But anyway, Billy, anything else to piggyback off of that, or what you got going on?
No, not really. Just speaking of rip 'em, I got a starter pack to open. I thought I'd open on the podcast. It'd be kind of fun. So,
a sneaky rip. Okay, let's end off. All right, everybody's gonna get in real close to see this. I'm excited.
All right, you're gonna see just tell me if it's framed right. So all right, we're doing Gen 2.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. It's that's the way.
Steam Rex in there.
I'm hoping for a Steam Rex. I need a Steam Rex.
Oh my! That'd be a good ending to the Steam discussion episode.
You would quickly be getting a couple Venmos. If you open I'm not joking.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it wouldn't just be
Let's see if we get this right.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that looks good.
All right, we got.
Ooh, the bug spray.
Harry's favorite.
Okay.
Yeah, make your comments.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Common Helm, Unicorn Might.
Give me a shiny comment.
You better get a shiny. Yes. You need to get a foil. I need it. Let's go. It's going to be the Bunnysaurus too. Then Jeremy can't make fun of you. Okay.
I know, right?
Keep going.
I think that's it. Okay.
Come
on. Okay. Shout out to Nick.
Ooh.
Got an evil squirrel.
Ooh, big buck.
Come on.
I really like big buck.
Come on.
There we go. Come on.
I've lost count. Are we in the rares yet?
Honestly, a foil trike would be great. No, water electoid.
Trike would be great.
Ooh. Oh, there's the Bunnysaurus, not a foil.
It's not the shiny. All right, what do we got?
Ooh, a foil assassin would be pretty, or a thief.
Hey, Magic Artillery.
There it is.
All right. Yeah,
see, you can build the gnome deck. Ooh, Beowulf. I like
Beowulf. Beowulf's fun. It's a good one.
Ooh,
Frog of Fortune.
Okay.
I've been getting a lot of frogs recently.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a frog fan.
I got a lot of foils.
Demon Dragon? That's pretty good.
Yes. Good Gen 2 creature. Ooh,
Undead Tower, another epic. Hey,
come on, give us the foil legend. Ooh, the Maniac. Look, it's hitting all the beats, Billy. It hit the Bunnysaurus, hit the Maniac. Now it just needs to do a foil Alkanost, and we've set this pack on fire. There's the Bronco.
That's another epic. Okay. Let's see. I got one more. What is it? It's a Met. It's a creature.
The wizard, dude! Foil Wizard Frog. Alec pulled one in his packs too, man. They're all. But look at that shine. I love
I like the foil Wizard Frog. That's a good one.
No. I'm thinking about building a deck around Wizard Frog because it's just such a fun little card.
Hey, there was a deck that was played that you could definitely take some notes from that took third in an untapped tournament.
Sure did. It sure did.
But yeah, I like Wizard Frog too, Adam. I'll just say that. But anyway, Billy, that was an awesome way to finish. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say besides, keep it. Everybody keep up to date, like you said. I think WWB is a great way to make sure that you got to know what's going on in the Ward community, and like for a lot of those players, like I'm saying, that are new, just having access to the people that are available in the competitive scene in these environments and getting to talk to us, I think is always a fun thing. Like me and Billy were pretty active in the Discord. Adam, I'm finding you in the Discord a lot too. You're having a lot of fun talking to people as well, and so it is fun to see all these new people, and like I said, just have as many resources for them to really get to experience Ward. And at the end of the day, it's like that's all we want out of it. We all love this game, and we're all trying to promote it. And so with that, guys, I think we'll wrap up episode 23. Adam, thank you for joining us. We finally get to meet another member of the Ward community, and like I said, I think it is really good to just slowly watch as Ward grows and kind of see where everything goes. So with that, guys, have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.